And of course, those Zerglings being absolutely mopped up by those Plasma Blades, those Zealots wielding them quite proficiently, and just able to absolutely dominate those links. So right now, IMnesTea just throwing more money down the hole and not able to really make anything happen, as we do actually see Hive Tech will be here soon enough, and more Spine Crawlers coming in here, as we have a grand total of 8 on the natural, and we have 7 more right here on the high yield, and we have a couple more right here sealing off this other natural, or this other expansion, as it would be the natural if IMnesTea had spawned right here, but that was not the case. So right now, actually, IMnesTea kind of bottling up in his own area, and right now, LiquidHuk is just rolling around like a massive train of pain. Here we go, Zerglings trying to engage these Archons. Of course, those Archons with that splash damage going to make mincemeat of them, as these Spine Crawlers just pecking away at them, and more Side Storms coming down on these Mulas. These Mulas forced to move back, once again, almost becoming a liability at this point, whereas these Spine Crawlers just digging away at all these units, and LiquidHuk moving back here as those Zealots just eating a face full of bony Spine Crawler. And yes, it is very, very, very saddening as a Zerg player to see just those Mulas being beat back time and time again, and these Archons just wailing into these Spine Crawlers, and these Spine Crawlers not going to be enough to deal with this, and it does look like, yes, IMnesTea will be moving here with Mulas and a couple of Zerglings. Taking a look at the production tab, more Zerglings on the way, and we actually have enough Mulas here to wrap this up, and it does look like IMnesTea will be able to defend this, and these Zealots just chewing away at this. Will they be able to snipe this hatchery? I do not believe so, as we have a massive flock of Mulas in the air. Yes, 23 in the air right now. Adrenal Glands on the way. Grand Paracus level 3 coming as well. So just teching up IMnesTea. I mean, trying to make these Zerglings that much more robust. I don't know if it's really going to be enough, though, as IMnesTea has not been able to utilize these Mulas in an effective manner. And I'm kind of worried that he's just going to be beating his head against the wall at this point. So he's kind of poking around here now that Huk has taken the high yield and another expansion. But look at all these cannons coming in just in time. And these Mulas almost trapped. Side Storms going down on them. And so many of them in the yellow, in the red. More Side Storms coming down from LiquidHuk. And LiquidHuk is just raining the pain on these Mulas. These Mulas trying to engage these Stalkers. The Stalkers, though, blinking underneath the perfectual gaze of these Photon Cannons. So once again, IMnesTea really just not able to make the magic happen, and just been beaten back time and time again. And you have to wonder, what are we going to do at this point? Well, you know what that is? We're going to build a greater spire. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That means Broodlords. Yes, indeed. I hope that we get to see Broodlords here momentarily. And I'm waiting to see. It's going to be interesting if we're going to be seeing Ultralisks from here, because these ground forces would be very, very much to the liking of those Ultralisks, with those giant tusks able to just rake in the damage on these Stalkers. And these Zealots, I mean, the Zealots really aren't going to be able to stand up against those Ultralisks toe-to-toe. Now, the Immortal right here, he, yes, indeed, would love to see some Ultralisks, because he will pop them like the little meat shields that they are. Just absolutely cleave through them. So right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the income tab, as IMnesTea still with a commanding lead right there. Not as much of a commanding lead as it used to be, because there was definitely a 20 to 30 harvester count difference. Now only about 10 harvesters. So IMnesTea, though, has to worry about, because his natural is almost mined out. His main is mined out. And yeah, he's going to be thinning out here. And yes, his actual this ninja expansion was looking to be starting to get a little thin. And I'd be worried about my crystal count there if I was him, because he has not really been able to make any headway. There have been no decisive battles for him. And we're looking at this. IMnesTea's sitting on a 200 army, and he's not doing anything with it. So that really begs the question, what is he worried about? What is he thinking? What is he planning to do at this point? And I think I know what it is by looking at this massive Spine Crawler defense. Holy cow. How many is that? I can't tell, because they're not considered units. That is a lot. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 Spine Crawlers. That's scary. It's definitely not something you want to be walking up against. So IMnesTea just kind of re-solidifying his positions. And it does look like he is kind of going to be moving out here in just a moment with a lot of Zerglings. And here we go. It does look like he will be engaging. And yes, the Zerglings pouring in here, trying to keep these Stalkers away from these Broodlords. But the Side Storm just coming in and just absolutely melting that Zergling army away. Meanwhile, the Mulas were absolutely beat back as well. And those Broodlords just taken down by these Blink Stalkers. And LiquidHuk just decimated the army of IMnesTea. But IMnesTea's not going to be outdone, and he is going to be macroing up an entire brand new army with 10 Ultralisks. 3 Broodlords, and 54 Zerglings on the way, so he is definitely not out of it right now, as LiquidHuk looks to go and do some damage as his Spine Crawler is just pecking away. Is it going to be enough, though? I'm not sure, as more Zerglings come streaming in here, but those Side Storms are just doing so much damage to him. Most of them are getting knocked out by those Side Storms. The Blinkstalker's coming in here, focus fire on these Broodlord cocoons, and almost the Broodlord almost made it to life, but just not quite. And where are the Ultralists? Oh, Ultralists, where are you? You are the saving grace. If they could only come in time. This one Queen charging up here, trying to be a baller. It looks like she's actually going to be cut down there relatively shortly. And here we go. Yes, we have the Ultras coming just in time. More Ultras just streaming in here. And it does look like we're going to get a nice surround by these Ultras on the army of LiquidHuk. And yes, here we go. Glorious day for IMnesTea as he absolutely just rallies the army of LiquidHuk, as the last remaining remnant of that army flees for its life, as these Blinkstalkers just absolutely not able to do anything. But here we go. LiquidHuk doing a great job blinking these Stalkers up on the high ground. These Ultras not able to do anything. We see some Side Storms coming down on the Ultras, but of course the Ultras not really going to be that afraid of those Side Storms. They absorb that with a smile and just keep on trucking. As you can see, they are in the orange, but those Blinkstalkers are just really not going to be able to finish them off. But there's so many cannons here. IMnesTea looking to retreat back with these Blinkstalkers, just too quick, too nimble, and able to keep out of the claws, those grasping tusks of those Ultralists. So right now, IMnesTea just once again stuck with a unit he cannot use, as LiquidHuk sticking with these Blinkstalkers, and these Blinkstalkers just so devastating as these tusks starting to dig into these Blinkstalkers, but it does look like they will be retreating behind these cannons, and Huk trying to save this expansion. Will it be enough? We have some Side Storms coming down on these Ultras. Ultras getting in here, getting a couple of swipes on these cannons. We'll be chewing away out this one cannon, but this Immortal coming up here and doing a lot of damage. We can see so much damage just being taken away. One Ultras going down, and another Ultras will be going down, and this Immortal will be tanking them, but of course 3 Ultras will be able to take out that Immortal in a heartbeat, and this one Ultras coming up, charging the ramp, but can't attack as this Archon is blocking him from his Stalker prey. One Immortal being double teamed by these Ultras. Will it go down? Yes, it will. That Ultras is totally getting a face full of those blasters from the Stalkers. Once again, Zergling streaming in here, trying to continue to put pressure, but LiquidHuk just hanging on by the skin of his teeth, and this one Ultra's trying to run away. Nope, here we go, coming back, doubling back, pissed off. Here he comes, that one Archon going down as Zergling's coming and getting the surround, as we see fungal growth going down on these Stalkers. These these Infestors just doing a great job locking down these Stalkers. This is exactly what IMnesTea needs to do to win, to defeat this Stalker menace, as these Stalkers have just been blinking away and sidestepping all the damage that IMnesTea has been trying to apply. They had a one Immortal being caught out in the open, and looking at the lost tab, IMnesTea just really doing a good job right now, actually being effective with his units. Of course, Side Storm's going down once again, melting away that Zergling butter, and it is just not going to be enough. It doesn't look like IMnesTea is going to be able to. Ooh, it's going to be close with these 2 of these Ultras. Really not feeling so good. That one Ultras with only about 100 taken out there, and these Archons once again holding this ramp. It is just like Helm's Deep right here, and these Stalkers are just the archers, and it is not going to be enough, as those Ultras once again just absolutely being destroyed by these Blink Stalkers. And you would think Stalkers, Ultras are of course going to do the Stalker, beat those Stalkers soundly, but LiquidHuk doing a great job of positioning his Blink Stalkers, using these Archons to tank while the Stalkers DPS, trying to build up these Immortals. Let's take a look at the units tab, as we see right now it's neck and neck, as no one really has that devastating of an army, as LiquidHuk and IMnesTea looking both to macro up new armies, as that was just absolutely exhausting right there. And it looks like, oh, what is this? IMnesTea looking to take the island base of LiquidHuk, so IMnesTea not wanting to let LiquidHuk get anything at all, and fungal growth going down on this Observer. So IMnesTea getting tired of that, but oh, here we go. LiquidHuk with quite a substantial army moving up here to engage IMnesTea. IMnesTea not really on the right foot right here. Fungal growth going down on these units right here, blocking these Blink Stalkers down, but too many Zealots in the front to absorb that DPS that those Ultras were throwing down. Even with that 33% splash damage, those Zealots were able to outdo those Ultras with the DPS coming from behind from those ranged units. And this Mortal, of course, doing more than his own share. And it does look like IMnesTea will be losing his expansion as well as his Ultraless Cannon and his Infestor Pit. And if he's not careful, he's going to lose his main as well. So here we go. And I don't know what these two Ultras are going to be able to do about it. And it looks like this one Ultra is getting a little too excited right there, running into the middle of LiquidHuk's army, being cut to ribbons there quite quickly. And these two Ultras retreating back here. The last remaining defenders of IMnesTea's main base will be taking down that Zealot, will be taking down this Archon. It does look like these Archons chasing away these Overlords right here. And these two Ultras dueling with this Archon and this Stalker, but finally LiquidHuk getting in there, and it looks like LiquidHuk has had enough of the IMnesTea shenanigans and will be pillaging this island expansion with this Warp Prism, great Warp Prism play, locking it down, throwing down pylons of his own, hell, even in the simulator before he can, because he was looking to expand, saw what was here, and decided to deal with it. And it does look like LiquidHuk attention has returned to IMnesTea's main base. Now, IMnesTea is in a really tough position right here, as LiquidHuk has continuously, resoundingly defeated what IMnesTea has thrown at him, and IMnesTea needs to come up with something. And it does look like he will be reverting back to Mutalist. And let's go and take a look at the units tab here. 20 Mutalists in the air, 1 Ultras left over from what he thought was going to be the key. More Spine Crawlers coming down on what is his last remaining main base, as his island expansion is still there, but it is not underneath the pressure that we've been seeing. So these Spine Crawlers are really going to be trying to add some sort of defensive measure, trying to keep this base online, because he is two-basing it at this point. And it does actually look like we're having a Mutalist counterattack here by IMnesTea on LiquidHuk. A lot of cannons right here, only running off of 1 pylon though, so we could see a pylon snipe, but Psystorms will be thwarting IMnesTea's pressure, and it does look like IMnesTea's not really feeling up to really put that constant pressure right there. And here we go. Yes, LiquidHuk finishing off this high-yield expansion, but the high-yield expansion, of course, had been mined out, so really not that big of a loss. But here we go. Is LiquidHuk going to be able to put the final nail in the coffin? I don't know if IMnesTea's really going to be able to do it. The 1 Ultra's charging out here, trying to be a hero, taking out that Archon. We see the Stalkers moving away from these Spine Crawlers, not trying to engage the Mutalists with that, and blinking back in here right into the middle of this murder of Mutalists. And it does look quite a few of those Mutalists will be dropping from the sky. These Blink Stalkers just being so deadly. LiquidHuk just really showing his micro abilities. And here we go. The overall APM averages, you can see right now both of our players are just absolutely at the peak of their, well, not right now, but their APM just skyrocketing. LiquidHuk with a small APM advantage at this point, but right there, did we miss something? I'm not really sure. As we saw the Spine Crawlers trying to do a defensive maneuver. Here we go. Zergling's trying to get in the faces of these Immortal and these Stalkers. Psystorm's coming down on this Mutalist block right there, trying to keep them away from these Stalkers as they finish off these Spine Crawlers. Blink Stalkers blinking into this fleet of Mutalists here. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so, as the armies of IMnesTea are dwindling, and there go his hopes. We're not even seeing the drones coming off the mineral line trying to do one last grand charge, but IMnesTea just losing the last bit of his Mutalist. That 1 Mutalist goes down right in the heart of that Stalker, and there we go. IMnesTea GG's out of it, and LiquidHuk able to masterfully take this game with his Blink Stalkers. That, I don't even know how many Blink Stalkers were made during that game, but that was pretty awesome, as we saw LiquidHuk once, time and again, just beat back IMnesTea with the Mutalists, with the Ultralisks. I mean, you saw with the Ultralist attacks that we saw by IMnesTea, LiquidHuk was still making the majority of his units were in fact Stalkers. He did a great job of using his High Templar with the Caldarian Amulet, able to throw down that initial Psystorm, then turning them instantly into Archons, enable the Archons to take the DPS from the Lings and from the Ultralists, and overall just able to keep those Stalkers out of harm's way and allow them to DPS. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. And just thank you so much for sticking with me. I really hope you enjoyed this game, as this was quite a long game. This was 37 minutes in-game time. So I hope you stuck with it, as I had a great time during the entirety of this matchup. So guys, thank you so much for joining me once again. And citizens, as always, stay safe.